Hey guys, it's day 224, and this week I put out Project Wiverna, which is my burn rate product idea, out there for feedback. It's in a really rough state, and I got a bunch of conversations going. So I want to tell you about the feedback I got and what I learned from it. Also, this is a really good moment to take a reflection on this journey. So I'm going to dig into the emotional roller coaster of all of this and tell you how I see this moment in time. Okay, so first of all, I packaged up Project Wiverna, which is my burn rate product that helps you track expenses, income, and gives you a runway, like a number of months that you're going to survive. And I put it out there for some feedback. It's very, very rough. You can't save your data. There's not a lot of features into it. It's just the core idea expressed. And I needed to package it up, so I added a welcome modal. So whenever you come to the site, it kind of gives you an introduction about what I'm doing, what kind of feedback I'm looking for. I created a how-to video to kind of explain how it works if you weren't sure. I reached out to founders on Twitter that I've engaged with. I reached out to people in my founders group on Slack. I got myself involved in some Reddit conversations and some indie hacker conversations. And I sent the link out to just several people that I trust. So the feedback was good. I got a lot of positive feedback about the user experience and the quality of the app itself. And some of the interesting feedback I got was that the how-to video was actually not even necessary because we understood how the product worked, which is really great feedback for the product itself. What I didn't get though was that gut reaction of people saying, "Oh man, I love this. I've got to have this." Or like, if it did this feature, holy hell, that would be great. Didn't get that feeling. I got a lot of this is really cool. I like this. A lot of comments basically just saying, hey, you did a great job. And that's great, but it does not tell me that this is maybe got the legs that I was kind of thinking it didn't. So I was always a little concerned this wasn't monetizable. For something to make money, you really have to have people's gut reaction be very, very strong. And I'm not seeing that so far. I know it hasn't been that long, but I've gotten pretty good at reading people in these feedback requests. There's an internal feeling I feel when I share it myself and I look at it from a third perspective and be like, I'm not sure this is going to work. So I'm not sure where that leaves us on this. I think it could be fully productized and we can see how it does with traffic generation and growing the audience. And that might be a nice place for this, but right now I don't quite see a path to monetization. And so I'm just going to sit on this for a minute and think. So let's take a moment to talk about the state of affairs just in general. And I want to take a minute to pat myself on the back. I think anytime you're doing something really hard, it's important to acknowledge the things that you're proud of, the things that you've worked really hard on. This week, I am really proud of myself for getting into a lot of conversations. It's hard for me to reach out to people and ask them about my work. That's not comfortable space for me. I'm more of a builder. So I'm really proud that I got a lot of conversations going. I got some feedback. I've spent a lot of time consistently helping founders now for the past week or two, and that has been really satisfying. But the founder roller coaster is in full swing. It's crazy how one week you'll feel incredible and like destined to succeed, and then one bad day can kind of wreck it all. So I want to take a look back at my journey, and you'll see that I'm getting much faster at evaluating ideas. So I started out with new teammate, and I did a lot of things right in regards to market interviews, prototyping, focusing on the marketing messaging, and before I did any building. In fact, I haven't done any building on new teammate at all. Then I pivoted to Snaptro because I felt there was a problem seeding the audience, and it was kind of becoming clear I wasn't sure how I was going to get my first customers. And I felt like Snaptro could be a momentum builder on Product Hunt. I learned my Product Hunt lesson very quickly with Snaptro, and I'll talk about that in a second, but I stopped development on Snaptro from that and listened to the feedback that I was getting, the conversations that I did get started by releasing Snaptro, which weren't that many conversations, but they were substantive and helpful. So I pivoted from that to Project Runicorn, which is my job listing product where candidates can apply to jobs on your site. Snaptro helped me think about using that for jobs, and that helped me think about maybe there's a way to make a very simple applicant tracking system that I can cut through that noise. It's a validated market. That's what really turned me onto that project. So I'm not guessing that there's a problem here. There's absolutely a problem. It's just about finding the customers and getting into that market. But after a wave of outreach and not being able to get any customers to actually try it, it felt like I need to go where the audience is since I'm not able to generate one myself. So that's when I had to take a break to build Project Wiverna, which I just mentioned, my burn rate product, just to get myself out of the funk. This is just to make myself feel better. It was just kind of a passion project for me, and I wanted to get it out there, get some feedback in case it lit up people. And sending that feedback out was really useful. It helped me get a lot of conversations going. So there's a lot of benefit, I think, in even doing that. And it wasn't a very long period of building. I think it was about a week and a half from start to finish on that. And maybe it's going to get some traffic, but I don't think monetization is going to happen right now, at least while I don't have much of an audience to sell to or to bring to the product, I guess I should say. So this has led me to some interesting thoughts about, the internet has changed a lot since I started coding. I miss that first wave of web products because I was too young. In the early 90s, the mid 90s, that's the first sort of wave of web products. And then that second wave, I also really missed that from 2000 to 2006 or 7, where web products could actually start being really interesting. I was just too young in my career to really take advantage of that. And then apps started coming out, and that's when I was actually starting to get good at building web-based products. And I remember the frustration that everybody wanted apps, and if you didn't build apps, you weren't getting a chance to get in front of people. And just by having an app, you could get a bunch of initial attention just because that market was so new. And then fast forwarding a couple more years, Product Hunt came out around 2011, 2012, and that was a really great platform in the beginning because it used to be that you could put a semi-decent app out there and you'd get a wave of great qualified traffic, really great constructive feedback, and you really could get some momentum going for any idea that you have. And I think that still works for some folks, but it's no longer a place for that if you don't already have an audience. It's just not working that way anymore. It was so great back in those days, you could just put ideas out there, and I have some stories I could tell based on that, but it's just not working that way today. So that you saw me do Snaptro, and my thought was, hey, I'll put this on Product Hunt, boom, gets a nice momentum going, that's going to build some customer generation for new teammate. Boom, there we go, audience seated. And it just did not at all work that way. So what am I saying here? I guess the internet has gotten a lot more crowded. There's a lot of competition, but if you can rise through the crowds, there's still plenty of space for excellence to win out, but you have to get out of the herd, and that's where I'm stuck in right now. I think all this reflection too, it's important to recognize a few things to help explain my journey so far. First of all, any idea can be a good one. It's kind of like stories and writing. Like any concept can be a good idea. It's just a matter of how it's packaged, how it's put together, is there heart in it. That's why I never dismiss any founder's idea. As niche as it can be, whatever it is, it's never right to say an idea is stupid. But it's also why I move very quickly from one idea to the next if I don't find a way to get in front of the audience. Just because any idea can be good, it also doesn't mean that any idea is going to make it. So you can't get too attached to your ideas. I think that's a really hard lesson that I've learned. And kind of going along with that, I think never admit that you know something is going to fail or something is going to work. You just can't until you get real human reactions. And that's why you've got to try some ideas, get them out there, get that feedback before you fully invest yourself in the idea. The other thing I think that's important is that starting without an audience and without an industry hook is where I'm at. This means you've got to work really hard to find a problem that people need solving. That's why I'm doing it in the best ways I know how to do it and why I'm unsettled right now. I don't have a specific problem that I'm addressing yet. I'm trying to find customers who have a problem that I can solve. So hopefully that kind of explains my process and why these ideas are kind of going faster and faster at evaluating them. Another big thing I want to share is that I've worked really hard over the years of my career to separate the value of myself with how people react to my work. I struggle with it constantly, but I'm so much better than I was when I started. And I want to tell you guys a quick story about this. So one of my first apps that I built was it was called Locked Journal. I don't know if you can see my tattoo, but it's this character right here. Basically was a online journal that was private to you, or you could make it public. And this was before a lot of blogging and stuff like that. It was right in that early phase. I had built something that I was really proud of, and I'm so excited to show it to my friend. So I brought him over to my house. He came up to my room and I said, hey, check this out. Boom, click. And I just kind of sat back like really, really excited. And he literally, this was kind of his reaction. He was like, oh my God, what is this? Why is everything orange? Oh my God, dude, this looks horrible. Oh my God, why is it going like that? What does this button do? Oh, dude, wow, this is terrible. And I was like, knife to the heart. It was so painful. I was like, what is happening to me? And that crushed me. It was so painful. But after a while, it took me a while to realize this, but that was feedback that was important. Like, that helped me realize that my design skills were not good. Like, I was not getting this product across to people. My friend was super rude. I don't think that's a good way to give feedback. It did help me realize that, wow, I had my heart outside my chest, in the open, ready for anybody to just totally squish it. That's what he did. He took advantage of that. It made me realize that he's not seeing all the heart and the hard work that went into this product and all these things that I believe in and care about. He just sort of dismissed it in 2 seconds. But ultimately, what was the feedback? It was basically my product didn't resonate with him. If it did, that wouldn't have been his reaction. It's easy to feel defeated when you work hard to build something and then you don't get the reaction you're looking for. So you might just not have the right people looking at it. And also, you might be getting feedback that it's not quite working for people. And that's okay. That's painful, but it's also a good reason to keep that relationship with your idea light and fluffy for a while. Don't put it up on a pedestal. Let it get evaluated so that you can move on. And that's what I'm doing right now, is trying to find the idea that really sinks people's teeth into and not trying to take it too personally when I don't get that kind of immediate, overwhelming reaction. So where are we headed next week? Next week, I've got some ideas just the past couple hours even where I've been thinking about ways to get more in front of people. And I'm going to share that with you once I flesh it out a little bit more in my mind. So stay tuned for next week. Thank you guys so much for your support, and I will see you soon.